Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2G's Sportcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Syf. I am joined here by Jay, my good friend and fellow sports fan and enthusiast. And this is going to be episode 1 of our Sportscast. We've been talking about it for a minute now, and we decided to
Too long.
give it a shot. Too long. But here, listen, perfection doesn't come, overnight. So, and we're going to dive into our topic of today, and that is the Bucks. One hit wonder? Question mark. I'll let you start off the conversation, Jay.
I think the Bucks have proven that the biggest thing in basketball to win championship is being cohesive with your teammates. You have a team that stuck together, they grinded together, and you definitely have the one superstar in Milwaukee, that is Giannis, and everybody else plays their role. And I think that's what made them successful last year. It's what made them successful over the years. If we watch when Giannis came in, he was a skinny kid. A lot of high hopes about what his potential was, but there was always the question of, can he address things like the size of his position? He was kind of small for the position that he was playing. He was getting bullied a lot. It was the issue of, is he going to work on, being more dominant, being more aggressive, taking advantage of his athletic ability to stretch the floor and have his way with anyone in the paint, and he's definitely stepped up. There was also the question of, is he able to lead his team? The last couple of years before this, the Bucks have completely fell apart in big moments where they really needed to step up.
Yep.
It was worse in the bubble. I think the situation with the bubble was that there was a lot of players who didn't want to be there. They didn't want to play. It just was a stressful situation. So you have teams that you expected to perform, like the Bucks and the Clippers, and in the Clippers situation, they threw the game. They didn't want to be there. That is what it is. But the Bucks situation, they did want to win. They just fell apart when they needed to. It seemed to me during the series against Miami that Giannis once again shied away from the big moment and didn't really take charge. This past season was a different story. He definitely took advantage of the moment. He definitely stepped up, and it's amazing that they started every series down 0-2 and was managed to overcome that.
Point.
I think what we saw in the finals was a battle of leadership. It was Giannis seeing if he can be that leader, and we had a veteran leader in Chris Paul. At the end, Chris Paul sort of didn't deliver when he was supposed to throughout that series. He did in the last game, but it was definitely too late. But for Giannis, he definitely willed his team. He definitely led his team through words and action. He was very active in the huddle. As a player coach, he was definitely on the court, making sure that his guys were having opportunities. He's not the type of superstar that feels he has to be that guy in every moment, but in moments where you needed him to be that guy, he definitely was. And
Absolutely.
He showed out and gave us one of the greatest final performances in that last game.
Absolutely. I will have to agree with you 100%. But I still want an answer. One hit wonder? What do we see?
They're not going to repeat. They're not going to repeat. I think we also have to look at when they faced Brooklyn, it went to game 7, and we have to question if Kyrie Irving was there, that series would have been over in 5-6 games at the most. There's a lot of asterisks. There's always going to be asterisks over teams when they win championships. There's always going to be things that happen that allow them, that sort of paved the way. It happened with the Suns. Definitely happened with the Suns. I don't think anybody can argue that. They played, every single team that they played was injured, and it seemed like a cakewalk until they got to play the Bucks. As far as the Bucks, the East definitely made some changes that's going to make it difficult. I know that you like the way Chicago's looking.
Yeah. And that's something we're gonna touch base before the end of this episode for sure.
And I think Philly definitely made some good moves that needed to be done. They're another team that's right there, and they're just missing some pieces. Hopefully, the moves they made is definitely going to help them. I think the Wizards as well. I think the Wizards is the kind of team that will benefit from having a superstar, and you have role players around him that will definitely play their role. I know the thing with Kyle Kuzma is he could be sketchy, but I think his play is going to change when he's not playing with LeBron James. We know that KCP can definitely deliver as a role player. He is definitely a solid addition to the Wizards, and we know what Bradley Beal can do.
No, absolutely, 100%.
So I think
Um,
the Bucks are definitely going to face some competition in the postseason.
for sure,
Um,
for sure.
look for Miami. Definitely look for Miami and see what they're going to do next year. They
Yeah,
made some great moves as well. They got rid of some dead weight. But yeah, it's going to be interesting in the East next season. Definitely interesting. It's been pretty interesting the last couple of years, but I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. But I think
yep.
the
I
Bucks are
couldn't
definitely
have
going to have a hard time.
100%. I couldn't have put it any better myself. In terms of a one-hit wonder, I would have to agree with you in terms of I don't see them coming out, and for two major reasons. One, I see a volatile and extraordinary movement in the East, especially like you just mentioned. The Bulls have put together in what I think is a pretty much a well-rounded team, very similar to the Bucks. They have a lot of talent. Zach Levine, now is freed up. Now he's a scoring machine, but now he can actually run wild and not even worry about it. You have a really good point guard in Lonzo Ball, who's just gonna get better, in my opinion. If they in maybe a couple of years, you'll see the Pelicans are gonna regret that decision of moving Lonzo Ball pretty early. He's only gonna get better. You see Vucevic, who's gonna become that foundational center for them, which I think they lacked for God knows how many years. So Bulls now are looking good. And now they just added more firepower with DeMar DeRozan. So again, frees up Zach Levine to just continue to what he's doing. Major concern with the Bulls, what we've probably discussed prior in our previous conversations, is who's going to lead the team, and does Zach Levine have that leadership role? Because what you just said was probably one of the most fundamental things that I believe the Bucks won, because Giannis led that team. He actually stepped up, lead by example. Hurt doesn't matter. He comes back. He gave it 110% with leaving absolutely nothing. No one can say the year prior to that, you'd be like, he choked, and you could say, but again, we don't know the mindset. We don't know his physical condition. But this year, I think it was just,
You
it
could
went.
say he choked.
Okay, you could say
You could say he choked.
Yeah,
He was
everybody
healthy. He
has
choked.
one of those moments, and it's part of the game. It's part of any sport. But this year, you cannot take anything away from the man. Led the team by example, showed up at almost every single game, in every single playoffs. They always started 0-2, which is incredible. But again, we're gonna put that little asterisk on the Nets, and we can say if not just Kyrie Irving. Remember, 2 games James Harden was out for that. 2 games, so you have KD playing by himself essentially, right? Against a full healthy, full balanced team like the Bucks.
We can't absolve the other players on the Nets. The Nets
No,
have
not
a
at
very
all.
stacked roster,
They
and
were
it's set up
stacked.
that
They
way
were
so that
stacked.
you have other
No
guys
excuses.
that are
No
capable.
excuses. But
You have to look at Blake Griffin. You got to ask what happened
of
during
course,
that
of
series.
course,
He was very
of course.
capable of putting down. Props to James Harden, though. He came out there
Yeah,
and he definitely played
yeah,
as
yeah.
best as he could play.
Yep.
His injury definitely affected the way he played. And definitely shout out to Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant stepped up and showed
100%,
that he's
100%.
more than just a good baller. You know?
Yeah,
There was,
100%.
at the end, there was nothing much he could do if you don't have role players that are going to step up.
No, 100%. Like you said, a couple of teams made movements. Miami Heat, Philly made some moves. Chicago Bulls, like I said, watch the Bulls. That's going to be my team to watch. And I'm going to go on record here. Pretty ballsy prediction, but I'm going to go with the Bulls making the playoffs, and possibly going round 2. Like that's how much I believe in that team. Again, it's gonna many factors, if they're gonna stay healthy, if they're gonna work together, but that's my team to watch. So it's gonna be hard for the Bucks in that term, and healthy Nets are gonna pose the biggest threat for the Bucks. Bucks might even finish first.
But that's the key, right? It's healthy. Can Kyrie Irving remain healthy?
The entire season.
They're definitely going to be in the postseason, so you really just need Kyrie Irving for the postseason to remain healthy.
Correct.
The issue is he's had injuries that have sidelined him way too much.
Yep.
And props to him, because when he does come back from injuries, I mentioned this yesterday, he doesn't come back a slouch. He comes back, he plays his game, and he plays it well. He's definitely one of the hardest people in the NBA to guard. And he's definitely the most dynamic point guard that there is in the game. I just wish he would play more of a point guard instead of a shooting guard.
Correct. Correct. I have to agree with that. Going back with the Bucks, with Giannis now committed to the team, he's probably not leaving anytime soon. Do you think that the Bucks organization and their market can attract another superstar? Because Chris Middleton is more than capable. He proved it to us. Okay, he proved it to us. He can be shy at times, but he proved it to us that whenever he's on, this man is on. He's a legitimate threat. He's a cerebral scorer. He's a great defender, in my opinion. And when he plays and he's on, he's on. He can outscore almost anybody on the court. And
Chris Middleton was the best closer in the playoffs among any team in the playoffs last year. He definitely came through at the end to close things out. Giannis was the spark, lit the fire. And definitely Chris Middleton proved he was the number 2 guy. I don't think
for sure
that the Bucks are going to attract any more superstars. That's just because of where it is in the market.
Because they can, or just because because they can't afford it, or because you don't think people want to go to Milwaukee?
Nobody wants to go to Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's the same reason why Cleveland can't attract any good talent.
True.
These places aren't necessarily appealing for most people.
But now you got a championship team, championship DNA. Why not? Why not for a struggling superstar to say, you know what? F this, let me go to Milwaukee and get my chip.
The thing, he's the thing is with something like that, like you're mentioning, I don't think that Milwaukee has one championship.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't have a signal that this is a place that you want to go to chase a ring because you're almost guaranteed to get a championship.
I mean, you have Giannis, who's literally just starting. He's just starting, and Giannis, we talked about it and we touched base, and we had previous conversations. And something that we should probably record is Giannis the next guy? And we had heated debates, and we agreed actually ultimately that Giannis is that next guy. He has that it factor. He has that superstar potential. He could be that next face of the NBA for maybe a couple of years, maybe 5-6 years. And
we'll have to save that conversation for another day. That's
absolutely.
A whole different thing.
But I'm saying, wouldn't that attract Bradley Beal, who's gonna say, you know what, I can't handle with Wizards anymore. I'm not getting a championship. I'm already 30-something years old. I'm not winning here. No matter what you guys do, like, you think he's not gonna pull up a James Harden and say, you know what, if I go to Bucks and you bring someone like Bradley Beal, that's a chip. I don't care about anybody's team. I'm gonna say you bring someone like Bradley Beal to the Bucks this season, they win a chip. And prove me wrong, but I say they do.
It creates. See, the thing with the Bucks, the reason why they were so successful is because their system is set up around having one superstar and having role players.
Okay.
To be honest, you really don't need another superstar in Milwaukee. The culture there is reminiscent of the Spurs, right? Look at the Spurs. You look back, we had Tim Duncan. Realistically, Tim Duncan was the only superstar.
He was not alone.
Right, but hear me out. He was the only superstar on that team. These other guys were just really great
Tony
role
Parker.
players.
Tony Parker was a big star, and believe it or not, Manu Ginobili, man, come on. I remember shooting in the park, screaming, Mano.
Yeah, but I mean, they're glorified role players. They're not superstars. You know what I mean? Tim Duncan was the superstar. You have a culture where players understand that the main goal is to win a championship. You don't have situations where guys are shooting when they shouldn't be, or things are like you have players out there that are trying to prove they're the guy. Everybody understands that Giannis is the guy in Milwaukee. It works for them. You have a great number 2 in Chris Middleton, who's not afraid to play aggressive, shoot the ball, and hit these shots towards the ends of the game. You have Brook Lopez, who's great on cleanup in the paint. You have Drew Holiday, who's become one of the best defenders in the league, and he'll give you some good production mid-game. They have a good system set up. You don't want to disrupt that by bringing in another superstar, and then you end up with the trying to figure out how to allow these two superstars to be superstars while they're on the floor together.
Fair enough. Do they go to the finals in the East? In the East, can they do that?
They can. I just don't think that it will happen. I think that they'll have an upset in the playoffs.
So okay, so your prediction would be they're not even making the finals.
No.
There will be an upset to knock them out.
I will give them a good chance of being in the conference finals, but I think if they come across Brooklyn again, they're not going to win.
So they're not passing Brooklyn. What if Brooklyn repeats the story? Injuries take plague. Giannis goes off, 40-point game back to back.
It's not likely.
Okay.
But it would sound great. I mean, you can count him for 40 back to back. You know what I'm saying? Any pair of games.
Correct.
He's definitely capable. But it's still an uphill battle when you don't have other guys on your team that can drop 40, and you're going up against 3 guys who can drop 40 with their eyes closed.
True. Biggest threat for the Bucks. Say we play devil's advocate. Let's say they are in the finals. They win the Eastern Conference Finals. Biggest threat in the West, and we probably can wrap it up with that.
On paper,
yeah,
I'm gonna say it's gonna be the Lakers. On paper, the Lakers are a threat to the whole league. This season, but in reality, I think it looks better on paper than it's actually going to turn out to be. But you have the biggest question is really how is Russell Westbrook going to fit in, right? We all know that he's a very prideful player. We all know that he takes shots when he shouldn't, and we all know that he's going. No matter how much he misses, he's always going to try. Even though if you need him to, take a seat and chill out, he's always going to try. But he's also always going to give you 100% anytime you need him to. I think when we're comparing, if we're talking about who's the greatest player in the history of the NBA, it is LeBron James. Jordan is still the GOAT, and he will always be, because without Jordan, there wouldn't be a LeBron. We wouldn't have the league we have today. Jordan made the NBA what it is today. Nobody can ever take the GOAT status from him. But you're talking greatest all-around player is going to go to LeBron James.
That is true.
And it's going to be that way for a very, very long time. But
so we anticipate,
what he's in year what now? He's coming up to year 18?
Something like that. Definitely something like that.
In the last, since he's been on the Lakers, let's look at it this way. This is the way I see it. Props to LeBron James, of course. You don't see many players, very few players actually, as they get older, they adjust their game. LeBron went from a paint dominant player as he got older, and he couldn't really rush in. The defenders got better. He changed his game to a shooter. He takes a lot more shots now. He's really good from three-pointer, considering earlier on in his career, it was very sketchy. But now just watch him. This man will, look at the left hand, pull up, and drain a three from, pretty good distance from beyond the arc. No backboard, nothing, all net. You know what I mean? He's definitely adjusted his game to play to what his capabilities are. But the last couple of years, he's been more injured than he's been in his entire career. And it's sidelined him a lot, enough to where it has affected his team's rankings. The first year on the Lakers, it definitely affected them going to the postseason. I don't think they was going to win a championship that first year, but they definitely was on route to be in the postseason. He got hurt. He was down for a minute, even though I think he extended it a little bit to try to get the AD trade for All-Star break. That's a different topic. And then we have last year, he was sidelined for a good amount of time, and it hurt the Lakers. It hurt them bad when you take somebody like that off the court for extended periods of time. So I don't think we're looking at a LeBron league. I think it's up for grabs still. I think the title of best player in the league, he has to give that up. I placed that with Curry, but we'll get into that later on in the episode.
True. That definitely.
But I think the LeBron age is done. It's just a story of a player that's just lasting in the league. He's good enough to still start. He's good enough to still give you a problem. And he's still good enough to drop 30-something if he needs to.
Correct. Correct. I don't see that. I don't see that as a consistent, as a consistent play. He's going to give you a nice, consistent mid-teens, 18 to 20 points, on any given night. No. And that's almost guaranteed.
Who? LeBron?
LeBron, yeah, 100%.
No.
What do you mean?
We're not talking about the same LeBron. You must be talking about you must be talking about a variant.
Listen,
of LeBron.
you're telling me he can't give you 18 points a night?
he's going to give you much more than 18 points a night.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's gonna be consistent with it. But
You're selling him short though.
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we won't need LeBron scoring 25 plus points per game to win games anymore. I'm gonna say if AD stays healthy, if Russell Westbrook steps up, and
that's why it looks appealing, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be something great because of the way Westbrook has shown that he plays. You let your pride get in the way of what's better for the team, and it's just not a good thing. But we'll see what happens. They have I think their first game is Golden State. We'll see how they look against KD and the Nets on Christmas. It's definitely a rivalry game.
Yep.
You have Kyrie versus LeBron. You have KD versus Russ, and James Harden. He just cool with everybody.
Yeah, that is true. So Lakers definitely pretty good front runners, high contenders.
It's really going to be about what is their bench going to be able to accomplish. Because now you have Melo coming off the bench, and most likely when he comes off the bench, he's going to need to be that leader for the bench. You understand?
That's true. That's true.
So it's going to be interesting to see, because guess what? He hasn't been a great leader in the past.
I'm looking forward to seeing Melo and LeBron James on the court at the same time, and I see that spectacular pass. I see the pass by LeBron, and I see shot by Melo, and doing the signature, baby.
I think Melo still has one of the quickest shot releases in the league.
Yeah, that is true.
And definitely one of the most dangerous mid-range games.
That is true. Not gonna take that away from them. But who do you think personally is the number one threat to the Lakers in the West? And I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna say that I do not think it's gonna be the Suns.
Well, I said this yesterday. I'm going to say Golden State. I'm definitely going to say Golden State, and I'm going to tell you why.
I want to know, why do you think it's Golden State?
I am going to tell you right now. Like I said, I think Steph is the best player in the league right now. You're getting Klay Thompson back. You're going to have Draymond. The responsibility of offense is going to be relieved off of Draymond Green's shoulders.
Do you think he had that responsibility?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why. Last season, they were playing with a bunch of young guys. The only core members of that team were Draymond and Curry. Wiseman, I don't think Wiseman had an underwhelming season. I think he just needs to come out of shell a little bit, play a bit more aggressive. I think for a rookie to fall into a championship, a dynasty, not disrespect, a dynasty franchise and a system, and these guys played really well last season. Nobody expected anything from them. They was able to make it to the play-ins, and I'm gonna tell you, if Klay Thompson was playing in that play-in game, they would have mopped the Lakers, right? Klay Thompson and Steph Curry alone give you the best shooting duo ever in the history of NBA. Draymond Green is definitely the defensive force that drives that team. There's something special about all those guys. Wiseman is going to be much better this season than he was last season. I'm going to look for him to be in the top 5 for block shots this season. I know that's a really, really tall order. We have really great shot blockers, but I just see, that's going to be what his future is, because that's what Golden State needs him to be. I think the kind of player that he is, I think it's a great system for him to be in. I know you mentioned that Iggy came back. Iguodala,
he did come back.
I think he's
that was his choice.
Great leader coming off the bench. I don't think that the Warriors are going to finish in the top 4 in the West. I think they'll be at the bottom somewhere. But I think all you need is for them to be in the postseason. Anytime they have been in the postseason, man, these players have been special.
100%.
A big reason why the Bucks One was because they played that system of basketball. You will never tire Golden State out.
Mm-hmm.
They will pace themselves, they will be patient, and they will chip away. And at any given time, Steph Curry will go off and go bananas. And to be honest, there's nobody that's really able to guard him in the league. He can create
Do
his
you
own
think
shots.
do you think Curry has another MVP performance? And we've talked about it
Yes,
we on our previous conversations that
absolutely. I think he
Curry had
definitely
an
deserved it last season.
yeah, 100%. He had an MVP season. If it wasn't, and I told you, if they would have made the playoffs and maybe went a couple of rounds, he would have got the MVP. I think that's
Definitely.
what helped. Yeah, he came off. You know, like people forgot. I think people just forgot how great Steph Curry is and what he can do on the court. And you know, now that he got Klay Thompson back, that's gonna be special. And
I'm not
he's
sure.
gonna.
Did he get the scoring title last year?
No, I think it was Bradley Beal, to be honest.
Are you sure? I thought maybe Bradley
Least
Beal.
yeah, I know Bradley Beal was going ham, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think Curry had the scoring title. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Oh no, it is Steph Curry.
Oh, it was Steph Curry.
He beat Bradley Beal by less than 5 points, but yes, he.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, look at that. And again, it goes back to that, you know, he had an MVP performance and people just forgot that Steph can drop 50. Steph can drop 50. He could drop 50. He could give you 10 three-pointers.
Yeah.
He can score 25 points in one quarter. Like people forgot that that's Steph Curry. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I like that, you know, the dark horse, I guess, in the division. That's what you can call it. The Warriors are the dark horse, and I think a lot of people just forgetting. I think literally we're just so focused on the Lakers that they're forgetting. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think the Clippers are gonna have a good season, considering Kawhi Leonard can come back. I just don't know when he's coming back. If he's coming back, you know, after the All-Star break, and if they're doing good at that point, and it's gonna be on Paul George shoulders to lead the team up to that point. And if they're doing good, that extra boost is going to be phenomenal considering he's coming back healthy. The Clippers are not going to lose to the Suns. They're going to take the Suns out if they face them. They're going to take out Denver and they're going to take out Jazz. That's just what I think. If they're going to play them, they're going to take them out. Trust me.
Right.
I would put a little bit, just like I'm going to be watching the Bulls. I want to know, because one of the biggest stars of last season and even the season prior to that is Luka Doncic in Dallas. So I'm interested to see how much he can get more special. Like that's what I'm interested to see. So that's gonna be my team to watch also in the West, that for Dallas. But again, if they face a healthy Clippers, we saw what happened. You know, Clippers are gonna take them out, and I think Dallas is still missing a piece or two, to be honest. They're there.
They're missing one piece.
Yeah, like what I said, they're very like one or two pieces at most, and they're gonna have a complete team.
So who do you think is the Lakers' biggest blockade? Do you think it's the Clippers, or do you think it's Denver?
I actually don't think it's the Clippers. I actually think the biggest threat would be a healthy Denver. Believe it or not, healthy Denver will be the biggest threat to the Lakers, because just the way that the Denver have evolved, and they picked up a couple of good pieces as well, and even prior to the season, but healthy Denver with Jokic is it's a recipe for 120 points per game. That's kind of crazy, but that's a high-paced game. And we saw what Jokic did. You know, he's the MVP, and there's a reason why he was MVP, because he was a big man that just didn't stop. And I think he's not gonna stop this season. He has a chip on his shoulder, and like I said, with the healthy with Murray's back, it's gonna be something special to see. And that's gonna be, I think that's where you're gonna need the best out of Anthony Davis, because anything less, Jokic will take Anthony Davis. He's gonna outwork him. I think athletically speaking, Anthony Davis all day, but skill-wise, I gotta give it to Jokic, man. I gotta give it to Jokic. You know, his extra passing ability, his dominance inside the paint, his shooting range. It's gonna be something to watch this season. And healthy Denver is gonna be my pick as the biggest threat to the Lakers. If they get eliminated, it's gonna be Denver. I'm telling you. It's gonna be Denver. I
All
don't
right.
see anybody else giving them so much trouble, but it's gonna be Denver. But it's gonna be a spectacular season, and I think that kind of wraps up our first episode. Thank you for your time. I think it's a phenomenal topic. We have a lot more to talk about prior to the season, and once the season starts, it's gonna be bananas. Okay, I'd like to remind everybody that we don't just talk basketball. We talk almost every sport, so there's something for everybody. I myself I'm a huge NFL fan and also mixed martial arts or any type of combat sports, including boxing. So we're gonna have that conversation. I know Jay, you love NFL as well, so that's gonna be something that's gonna be
Definitely
hitting.
the season is coming up. A lot of things to talk about. with
Right,
the
there's gonna be a
NFL.
lot of things to talk about. That I just, our mutual passion started with basketball, so we wanted to dedicate that first episode to that. And yeah, we want to thank everybody for their attention, and hope to see everybody soon. Thanks, Jay.
And don't forget, like and subscribe.
Oh,
Get
as
those
always.
notifications.
As always,
We're working our way to go.
hit that button. Hit that button.
Definitely hit that like button. Leave your comments, any comment suggestions,
Yep.
anything down in the comments.
Catch us on Twitter and TikTok. So definitely, there's gonna be some content over there. So make sure you give us a like over there too and follow. Absolutely.
All right.
All right, deuce.